When it comes to feeding parrots that are parents or that you're hoping are going to become parents during the baby season, I received a question: how much do I feed my caiques as far as pellets go, as far as a seed mix, that kind of thing? Hey guys, let's talk about that. My answer is actually the same as it is for kind of like feeding anyone, just about any of my parrots, whether it's baby season or not, and regardless of whether or not they're parents. Welcome. Parrots are my bliss. I have over 22 species of parrots. I love my parrots and they make me happy. My mission is to help you have a blissful bond with yours as well. If you are new to my channel, you may not know I do a light amount of breeding, which means that some of my parrotlets breed, some of my caiques breed, and then sometimes we have some conures that breed. But I have a lot of parrots that don't breed, a lot of parrots that are my pets because they are my bliss and I love them. For that reason, and because diet is so important to me, I feel like diet is a core part of what sets your mood, what certainly sets your health. And so I kind of feel like the first ingredient in any blissful bond that you're going to have with a bird, it means that you both really, but they certainly have to have a good, healthy diet. For that reason, I'm a very strong believer in always having fresh water and pellets available in a parrot's cage for them, whether they're in the cage or not. Like, you may have an open door policy like I love having, and your parrot may come in and out, but like that way they know where their food is. Now, of course, that is not 100% of a diet for anyone. I am also a very big believer in fresh vegetables for my birds. When it is baby season, I am an even bigger believer in scrambled eggs for my birds. Egg food is a food that is a standard industry, and that's for anyone who's going to tell me I'm being cannibalistic. This is a standard industry in the parrot world, not even in my world, not even in the United States. In the world, a standard is egg food, which is a mix of egg and some vegetables, that kind of thing, that you feed to the parents, that they are feeding their babies when they're being raised in their nest box, which is how I like to start my babies. And so I really believe in, again, that good healthy diet. So I do believe in the eggs. I really believe in the vegetables. I think that's really good for them. I don't do a lot of fruit. I hardly do any fruit for my parrots because of the high fructose content. And it is important that I feel like that the parents and the eggs or the babies are going to be fed a really good meal, and I don't want them to get that high, really sugar content. So I don't measure, because look, the person asked me how much do I feed. I don't measure. I make sure they have plenty. I'm kind of lucky. I've talked to other breeders who are like, you know, I don't have the time to give vegetables or egg food several times a day to my parents. And I'm like, I do. It's really important. I do it at least twice a day. So I don't measure their pellets and I don't measure their vegetables. I want their vegetables to be a very significant part of their meal. Generally speaking, when parrots wake up in the morning, they eat. Generally speaking, in the evening, when they're getting ready to settle down for the night, they eat. It's not to say that parrots only eat 2 meals a day, but it is to say, like, you could say that's like their biggest meals. So I really like for that first meal to be enough vegetables. I put enough vegetables in everyone's cage or wherever they are, so that that's pretty much what they eat. During the day, they'll eat pellets, or if they're small birds, especially if they're Australian birds, like my red rump or my budgies, they get grass seeds, like the parakeet mix, because that's what they would have in the wild. They always have pellets, and I kind of monitor. I'm like, for the next couple of days, I want them to eat this many seeds and this many pellets, and so I'll put them both in, and when the seeds are gone, I won't refill until the pellets really get low, and I'm cleaning out dishes or that kind of thing. I have no mess feeders, so my bowls, like inside, the food doesn't get gross, and I really like that because that way they don't run out of food in a couple hours like they did when I had it in bowls. So I always like to ensure that they are getting kind of like that breakfast, that first big meal, it's vegetables, and if they're parents and if they've got babies, it's egg food. They do have pellets all day. And then in the evenings, if they get extra nuts, like my African gray or my Timna, then I like to give nuts out in the evening. One reason I do that is because that way they're not going to choose like the nuts over the vegetables. That way they're going to be choosing both. And when they're hungry in between, they're going to get pellets. I monitor, like I said, I make sure that those pellets get eaten. And so my percentages aren't exact, but you kind of get an idea. My first meal, it's basically vegetables, pellets whenever they want, whenever they eat them, and they do. And then depending on an evening snack or the nut eaters or the seed eaters, they get theirs too. So I can't tell you exactly what percentages. That's how I do it. I feel like it ends up being at least a third-ish morning vegetables, probably a third or a half pellets. It depends on the parrot. It depends on what else is in their diet. The nut eaters, they're not going to eat as many pellets, of course. And a non-nut eater, like my Amazons, they're going to, of course, wind up eating more pellets because they don't have that nut component. They have the vegetables in the morning, which I really like for them. And then during the day, they have the pellets. I might give them a treat like a walnut, but that's about it. And this is how I do my best to keep my parrots healthy and well balanced. I have consulted with so many experts. My vet's, she breeds, she's been doing parrots for 40 years. My mentor, he's been doing parrots for 40 years. And so, and I'm always looking to upgrade my diet to improve things for them because it is so key. And generally speaking, our babies have been good. We don't have a ton of babies, but we've had pretty good luck with our babies. They've been happy, they've been healthy, and I feel like that is what's most important. Thank you for joining me, and please notice that whether you're breeding or whether you just have a parrot of any species, this totally applies. If, like me, you're like, their diet is so important, and it is. It's so important to me. All right, thanks for joining me, guys. I'll see you in the next blissful video, unless you want to watch my little reel on how you can get involved with my channel with things like my books. See you next time.